Good morning and welcome to the Sunday special Shunya Talks, where we study the ancient Indian text Ekotara Agamas, which had been translated from Sanskrit to Chinese by Gautama Sangha Deva and is now being translated from Chinese to English by the SIFT Translation Department under the guidance of Dr. Lim. So today I have Dr. Rajesh with me in the studio. Welcome, Dr. Rajesh.
Yeah, good morning, Herman.
Thank you so much for taking out the time so we can study the Ekotara Agamas.
Yeah.
So before we start today's session, we will quickly do our 9 to 0 meditation.
Yeah, let's do our Shunya practice.
Yes. Okay, so last weekend we did till EF 18.4.
Yeah.
So today we'll continue from 18.5. So let's
Okay,
start.
and to give an update, Dr. Lim is traveling, so he would not be joining
Yeah,
us.
Dr. Lim is
Yeah.
traveling today. So today Dr. Rajesh and I will be taking today's session.
Yes.
Okay, so 18.5, Ajata Shatru's elephant.
Hmm.
Thus I have heard. One time, Buddha was staying at the Venuvana, Kalandaka Nivasa in Rajagriha, together with a great assembly of 500 bhikshus. At that time, King Ajatashatru had an elephant named Nalagiri, which was extremely fierce, violent, and ruthless. It was powerful and brave, capable of subduing external enemies. Because of the strength of this elephant, the entire kingdom of Magadha was brought under submission. At that time, Devadatta went to King Ajatashatru and said, "Great king, you should know that this elephant is fierce and capable of subduing many enemies. You can make it drink strong wine to intoxicate it. Early in the morning, when the Shramana Gautama comes into the city for alms, release this drunken elephant to trample and kill him." At the time, when King Ajatashatru heard Devadatta's suggestion, he immediately issued an order throughout the kingdom. Early tomorrow morning, the drunken elephant will be released. The people must not wander in the street or alleys. At that time, Devadatta said to King Ajatashatru, "If the Shramana Gautama possesses omniscience and knows future events, then tomorrow he will surely not enter the city for alms." King Ajatashatru said, "As you have instructed, if he truly possesses omniscience, then tomorrow at dawn he will not enter the city for alms." So, sir, Devadatta previously also in one sutra, he was talking about killing Tathagat, Buddha. And in this sutra as well, he's talking about killing the Tathagat.
Yeah.
So, why is it that Devadatta is behind, his motive is to kill Tathagat?
Because if you look at the whole story, the background of the story, the conditioning that Devadatta went through all his life was built on jealousy and hatred. When Buddha, when he was Siddhartha, and as a Siddhartha, as an elder brother of Devadatta, technically brothers there. So even though Siddhartha was proficient in many things, in everything he excelled, and he used to always feel that I'm putting all the effort but I am never being appreciated, I never get that first place, why is it he gets? So even he wanted to, when Siddhartha was going to be named the crown prince, and he was going to become the king, Devdatta still had that feeling that why not me, why him? So he wanted to become the king. So finally, when Siddhartha leaves everything and becomes an ascetic, he thinks, oh, he finally won, this guy left. But even there, he becomes the enlightened one. He says, oh, even there he is becoming. So he also doesn't want to be the king, he wants to become that. Because everybody loving and respecting him. So hate, jealousy is a quality of a person who has never been nourished with love and care. And I always believe that such a person needs to be only treated with love and care. Because compassion is what that is going to heal him. And people don't realize it. They want to handle hate with hate. And that's not the eternal law. So the Sanatan Dharma says that you cannot win hate with hate. Only by non-hating you can win over hate.
Oh. So if someone is hating in our life or someone is angry with us.
Yeah.
And
no, anger is different. Hate is dvesh.
Dvesh.
And anger is, you can say, rag. Right? So you can get angry, but anger is more passionate. Dvesh is more negative in the sense you want to push things away. You just want to have ill things about the others. Passion comes from greed. Okay, this comes from jealousy, hate. So this is definitely two different things. So hate you treat with love.
Love. Okay.
Yeah, okay, so this is very important. When you treat hate with love, that hate will always die off. But you treat hate with hate, you're breeding more hate. Okay, then you're adding more fuel to fire. And the fire doesn't stop.
Okay, so any negative energy which is around us, we can only fight with it with positive energy.
Absolutely. So here you see Devdatta is, as soon as he finds an opportunity, he knows that the king Ajatashatru has an elephant. This elephant is fierce and powerful and everybody is already afraid of it. He suddenly gets this wicked idea that if King Ajatashatru, who also does not like Buddha, then even I don't like him. And if we together come together, we can end this Buddha. Okay, we can finish his life. So if the best way is, rather than spoiling our name, because everybody knows people love Buddha, and if they get to know that we are the ones who are killing him, they will definitely not like us, they will despise us. So they can use an elephant to do that. So they say, why not give an elephant some kind of an alcohol, make it mad, and in the morning when he comes for alms, then at that time he'll be crumpled by the elephant, our job done. We can say the elephant did it, not we. And that's how a fool thinks. A fool always thinks like that. On the other side, they also think that they are wise. Oh, if Buddha is all, very intelligent, omniscience, he can see everything, then he will be able to see that tomorrow morning there will be a drunken elephant and it will kill me, so he will not come. So he's saying, oh, let's test him for that. So this is how fools come up with all these fantasies, and they act on their fantasies. Okay?
They don't act on reality.
No, they don't, because they fantasize. They'll create a fantasy world, and then they create all the scenes of the fantasy world. It's like a child playing, on a seashore, making a castle, putting all the things, this thing. But he's happy. He's playing with that. That's not real. We see the child playing. For parents, they will say, oh, let him play. It doesn't matter. Okay, but that child, when the wave comes and destroys that, he's going mad, my house, and then parents say, hey, what is it, build another one. No, it was... So it's like that. Sometimes innocence, when it becomes too much attached with things, it becomes crazy, and then you have the fool's paradise created. And in that fool's paradise, everybody just suffer.
Okay.
Yeah?
Yeah, okay. Let's continue.
Yeah.
At that time, the men and women, young and old, in Rajagriha, who revered Buddha, heard that King Ajatashatru planned to release a drunken elephant at dawn to harm Tathagata. Upon hearing this, they were filled with sorrow and worry. They went to Buddha, bowed their head at his feet, stood to one side and said, tomorrow at dawn, may Buddha not enter the city. The reason is that King Ajatashatru has issued an order instructing the people of the city. Tomorrow, do not walk through the streets and alleys. I will release a drunken elephant to harm Shramana Gautama. If Shramana truly possesses omniscience, then tomorrow at dawn he will not enter the city for alms. We earnestly beseech Buddha not to enter the city, lest harm befall Tathagata. and the world be deprived of its guiding light, with no one left to offer salvation. Buddha said, "Stop, stop, O Upasakas, do not be troubled or grieve. The reason is that the body of Tathagata is not an ordinary mortal body and cannot be harmed by others. Such a thing will never happen. O Upasakas, you should know that Jambu Dvipa extends 7,000 yojanas from east to west and 20,000 yojanas from north to south. Purvi Vaidyaha spans 8,000 yojanas in width, shaped like a half moon. Apara Godania is 9,000 yojanas wide with a square landscape. Uttarakuru measures 10,000 yojanas in width with land shaped like a full moon. Even if these 4 continents were filled with drunken elephants densely packed like rice, hemp, or a thick forest, they still would not be able to move even a single hair of Tathagata. How then could they possibly cause harm to Tathagata? Such a thing will never happen." So here Buddha is talking about the 4 continents which we studied.
So you can see what Buddha meant when all the people who heard about this plan of Ajatashatru wanted to, give him a signal that don't come to the city because this drunken elephant might trample you. Buddha wants to tell them that he is not attached with his body. This body is not what that elephant can destroy, because the elephant, if it plans to even destroy, he can destroy that body that is going in, but not the Tathagata, because Tathagata is beyond this body. And we have to understand that this body is just a manifestation. Like Dr. Lim says, it's a bio-robot. Mm-hmm. It's a robot in which you're getting your work done, but that's not you. It's going to perish, right? It's going to someday fall apart. But when you look at it, he's talking about all those continents. If they were filled with everything also, if there is not a single thing, even then a small hair of the real Tathagata cannot be harmed. So people might put you down, people might say something to you, but if you know who you truly are, nothing can harm you, nothing can spoil you, not even a hair can go astray, right? Okay. So when you believe in yourself, when you know what you are, so whatever people say, whatever people plan, whatever people want to do, it doesn't affect you. Nobody can do anything to you if you believe in yourself. So this is what Buddha is trying to say, that he is not afraid of an elephant, and that also a drunken elephant trampling him. Oh, that's the most simplest thing. He definitely is not afraid of that.
Okay.
So you'll see why. You'll go as you go forward, you'll realize what he wanted to say. First, because he wanted to take away the fear of those who were coming with all the fear. So sometimes I feel this is just a parable, but in real life it happens. When I was in the factory, and there was some leaderships coming for a convention there, and because I was very strict and doing certain things, so they said, some people came to me and say, tomorrow there is a big conference here, and the leaders have all conspired against you. They're going to, now when you go on the stage, they're going to throw all the tantrums to you. Make sure that you're put down on the stage. You will be, embarrassed on the stage. They were going to raise such queries, this and that. I said, it's okay. Let them do what they have to do. And I will do what I have to do. I'll sit there. I arranged for a nice chair. I sat there all alone on the stage. And I said, now, whoever wants to speak, speak. Whatever questions are, I am the only person who can answer this. And after me, Dr. Lim. So please let me know what your questions are. Then the questions automatically just mellowed down. Nothing happened. Nothing happened. Instead they clapped, they appreciated it, and everything was over. So no different story, So the world is going to do that to you. As soon as you get a little edge over the others, you will be brushed off to make sure that you're plain again. That's how life is. But you should be smart enough to always take an edge over everybody else. Okay?
So here also, when the people come to Buddha with fear, he takes away his fear with positivity.
Yeah, he tells it, don't worry, I'm there now.
Yeah.
When you tell, if you have a team tomorrow, and if all the team were, the market, the competitor is doing this and blah, blah, all those things, and you say, don't worry, I'm there, this has happened, and the team feels confident, okay, they will be okay, let's go. A leader is very powerful, a leader is strong, a leader is fearless. That's how a leadership is. That's how you represent. A Buddha has to be like that. If Buddha says, "Oh, is it so?" Then I don't think so. We should, tomorrow morning I'll not go. Then what? Finish the story once. We will never have this story also.
Yeah.
Right? Because he was fearless. And that's how a Buddha is, fearless.
Fearless. Okay. Beyond the 4 continents, there exist 1,000 worlds, each with 1,000 suns and moons, 1,000 Mount Sumerus, 1,000 4 great oceans, 1,000 Jumbo Dweepas, 1,000 Purvi Vaidyas, 1,000 Apara Godanias, and 1,000 Uttarakurus. There are also 1,000 realms of the 4 great kings, 1,000 realms of the Trayas Trimsa, 33 gods, 1,000 realms of the Tushita heaven, 1,000 realms of the Yama heaven, 1,000 realms of the Paranirmita Vashavartin heaven, and 1,000 realms of the heaven of Nirmanrati. This is known as 1,000-fold world. Beyond this, there exist 2,000 worlds, known as middle 1,000-fold world. Further beyond, there exist 3,000 great 1,000-fold worlds, known as the 3,000 great 1,000-fold world system. Even if all the Nagas of Lake Anavatapta fill this vast cosmos, they would still be unable to move even a single hair of the Tathagata. How then could this elephant hope to harm the Tathagata? Such a thing is impossible. The reason for this is that the spiritual power of the Tathagata is inconceivable. And once the Tathagata has appeared in the world, he will never be harmed by others. You may all return to your places. The Tathagata fully understands the course of these events. At that time, Bhagwan extensively expounded the profound dharma to the fourfold assembly. Upon hearing the true dharma, the laymen and laywomen rose from their seats, respectfully bowed at his feet, and then departed.
Yeah, you see here, Buddha shows how huge and how expansive is the you can say the system, the world systems. We talk about the Tri Sahasra, Mahasahasra, Lok Dhatu. This is what he's explaining: the 1,000, the 2,000, the 3,000 fold world. And if you look at it, all the heavens, all the hells, all those things, in all the beings and everything also, all the lakes, and if you take everything also, that all also go against the Buddha to harm. Even then, not a hair can be harmed. You understood?
Yeah.
So it's like that when you realize that you are that ultimate source and you believe in yourself that you cannot be destroyed. This body can be destroyed, but you as a self cannot be destroyed. And that non-destructive you, the everlasting you, the all omnipresent you, is the one that Buddha nature is. And we all have it. And if we realize it, we will never live in fear. We will never have anxiety. We will never be worried what somebody said to us, what happened to us, how others treated us, what people make us believe. All those things will absolutely not matter. The only thing that will matter is that if I have come here, I have a responsibility, I fulfill my responsibility. What has to be done has been done. What burden I was carrying has been laid down, and now there is no more becoming. This is the only thing. This is what Buddha is trying to tell us here. Okay? Let's move forward.
At that time, Bhagwan, early in the morning, donned his robe, took his alms bowl, and prepared to enter Rajgriha to collect alms. At that moment, Dhritarashtra, the king of the eastern direction, along with the Gandharvas, came from the east to attend upon Bhagwan. At the same time, Viruddhaka, the king of the southern direction, led the Kumbhanda spirits in attendance upon the Tathagata. From the west, Virupaksha arrived, accompanied by his retinue of Nagas attending upon the Tathagata. From the north, Kuvera, the king of the northern direction, led the Rakshasa spirits in attendance upon the Tathagata. At that moment, Shakra, the ruler of the gods, along with tens of millions of celestial beings, descended from the Tushita heaven and arrived before Bhagwan. Simultaneously, Mahabrahma, the king of the Brahma heavens, along with countless Brahma deities, descended from the Brahma world to Bhagwan's presence. The god, the gods, the Brahma kings, the Chatur Maharaja Kaikas, and the 28 great celestial deities, along with the great demon kings, spoke among themselves, saying, "Today we shall witness the battle between two mighty beings, who will emerge victorious and who will be defeated." At that time, the fourfold assembly of Rajagriha saw Buddha leading the bhikshus into the city for alms. The people within the city raised their voices and called out. King Ajatashatru also heard this sound and asked his attendants, "What is this sound that reaches even here?" The attendant replied, "This is the sound of Buddha entering the city for alms. The people, upon seeing him, have raised their voices." Ajatashatru said, "Shramana Gautama has so sacred path and does not understand the signs of human intentions." Then he immediately ordered the elephant trainer, "Quickly make the elephant drink strong liquor, equip its trunk with sharp swords, and released it to charge forward." So here the whole heaven and the gods, the Chatur Maharaja Kaikas, they all came to witness this event.
Yeah, it was a big event that was going to happen, with a fool and an ignorant, person debating with a person who has all knowledge. It's always a very eventful and a dramatic event. And when you see that all the drama is around this, foolishness with wiseness, when they conflict, you'll see the simplicity with which the all foolishness is handled. And the effort and the plans and the ideas and the concept the fool makes, when they just crumble down with a wise man's one little simple move, then all that drama is always entertaining to watch. Have you seen the Hindi Bollywood movies? And the whole thing is like the hero, at the end we know there is a villain and we know he's going to be making all the plans to trouble the hero and the heroine. But all that we still go and watch. We love to watch the drama, So this is what the drama is all set. The elephant is going to be drunk. He's going to charge with all the trunk and loaded with the sharp swords. Now the character so-called Buddha is walking in the streets with his people. Everybody gathered. Everybody wants a show, and the show is just begun. Let's see what happens.
Okay. At that time, as Buddha, along with the bhikshus, approached the city gate and stepped inside, the earth trembled, and the divine beings in the sky scattered various flowers. Seeing the drunken elephant charging forward, the 500 bhikshus fled in all directions, not knowing where to go. The furious elephant, upon seeing Buddha from afar, rushed straight towards him. Seeing this, the attendant Ananda stood behind Buddha, feeling uneasy, and pleaded, "This elephant is violent and fierce. I fear it may cause harm. It would be wise to avoid it." Buddha said, "Do not fear, Ananda. I shall now subdue this elephant with the divine power of the Tathagata's hand." The Buddha observed the raging elephant from neither too near nor too far, and then manifested mighty lion kings on either side. Behind the elephant, he conjured a vast pit of fire. Upon seeing the lions on both sides and the blazing pit behind, the frenzied elephant lost control, urinating and defecating in fear. Finding no way to escape, it then charged forward towards the Buddha. At that moment, the Buddha recited this verse, "You shall not harm the Naga, for the Naga is most rare to encounter. By harming the Naga, you shall not attain a vicious rebirth." At that time, the raging elephant, upon hearing Buddha recite this verse, felt as if set aflame. It immediately dropped its swords, knelt on both knees before Buddha, and lowered its trunk to the ground, licking Buddha's feet. Then Buddha extended his right hand, gently stroking the elephant's head, and spoke these words, "Anger leads to hell. It also gives rise to forms and serpents and vipers. Therefore, abandon anger and never take on such a form again.
So you saw the elephant, which was supposed to bring fear and panic within the Buddha and the Sangha, is now actually been going into the same thing that it was about to give. It's in fear and panic and subdued. Okay, it wanted to subdue but got subdued. That's exactly what happens when you encounter somebody who is more wiser than you, who is more realized than you. And all that thing that trouble we want to make sure that we trouble the others with, that all troubling comes because we have that in abundance. When somebody then makes us realize and we let go of that, we submit ourselves to that person, because he relieves you of your you can say the burden of all the confusion and chaos. And here, if you look at it, the ignorance was taken away. Even though the elephant was drunk, the only thing that could wake him up was the fire that was behind him and the two lions that elephant respects. That's exactly what happened. And because of the fire, because of the things, and because Buddha was there, the elephant just subdues himself and starts licking at him, because he realized that the only thing between all that thing that were there, the two lions, which was fear, the fire, which was a fear, there was one person, the Buddha, where there was peace.
Yeah.
So where will somebody go? To the person that is at peace.
Yeah.
So you just walk to it, lick down and settle down. It's like this, rage of a jungle where all the plants are burning and there is a tree that is not burning. Where will you go and sit? Next to the tree that is not burning, right?
Yeah.
So that's exactly what happened here. And then Buddha uses this nicely, stroking the elephant. He talks about that anger leads to hell. It gives to forms of serpents and vipers, that is hate and jealousy is born from this. Then therefore abandon anger and never take on such a form again. Because when you get angry, you don't even realize. We see this person, otherwise he's normal. But when he gets angry, he's a different person. He takes another form. He could be like a drunken elephant. He could be like a mad, crazy guy. Because he's not this normal person. Because anger has changed him. And hence he's saying that you should not get angry. You should abandon anger so that you don't change your form.
Yeah.
Okay?
So the verse before... where Buddha said, "You shall not harm the Naga, for the Naga is most rare to encounter. By harming the Naga, you shall not attain a virtuous rebirth."
Yeah. So he's telling him, the elephant, he's talking to the elephant in a way that you should not harm the Naga. Naga he's representing himself, and he's saying if you harm the Naga himself, then you will not be doing a virtuous act and your next birth will not be right. So at the end, everybody wants something, right? And everybody wants something, but if somebody tells them what this wanting can lead them to, either hell or heaven, they will still have a choice whether they want it or not.
Yeah.
You understood? The problem is there is nobody to guide us. If there is two roads that are going on the left and right, but if there is no board there which says which one is going where, which one will you choose? You don't know, right? And then if you go on the right and that's not where you want to go, then you come all the way back and then you go on the left. Yeah. And that's where you wanted to go. You lost all your time because nobody was a guide there. So this samsara, you are born. If there is no guide for you, you will be born, you will try and experiment yourself in this life. Either you will go down in the lower realms, or because you did right, you will go in the upper realms, or after you have exhausted all your merits of the upper realms, you will come back to the lower realms. The cycle doesn't stop. But a guide like Buddha tells you where you want to go. Do you want to come back again? Do you want to continue the cycle? There is a way that you can end this cycle. And that is by following the Panchashil, doing your duty, exhausting yourself and making sure that this life of yours is the life which is the final life and there is no more coming back, because there is nothing else that is supposed to be left to be done.
What had to be done has been done.
Has been done.
Okay. At that time, the divine gods in the sky scattered hundreds of thousands of various flowers upon Buddha. Then Buddha expounded the profound dharma to the fourfold assembly, celestial beings, nagas and spirits. At that moment, when the 60,000 men and women who witnessed the subduing of the elephant were freed from all defilements and attained the pure dharma I, likewise, 80,000 celestial beings also attained the pure dharma I. As of the drunken elephant, a blade-like wind arose within its body, and upon its death, it was reborn in the palace of Chatur Maharaja Kaikas. When the bhikshus, bhikshunis, upasikas, as well as celestial beings, nagas, and spirits heard what the Buddha said, they followed it with joy.
Yeah, you see how when you watch a drama, the drama can be your awakening, or it could be a reason why you become more ignorant. So today when you look at our the channels that we watch, the YouTubes and your social media, and you go and watch movies in theater, do you think that doesn't affect you? It does. It does. It conditions the society in a particular way. So all the content that out there is actually conditioning you. And in all this, if you see, if there is good content, a good drama, that can also help the awakening of so many people who are watching it. In the same way, a good content out there, like what we do, Shunya Talks, maybe there is nobody listening to us. But even a few is enough for us to set the fire to begin with, right?
Yeah.
So I think that's exactly what here we can take a message back home, that to dramatize an event is also very important, because only then that you can attract a lot of people to understand the Dharma. So in a short period, instead of having the fear of you being killed, Buddha goes there, liberates everybody.
Yeah.
Not only the one who are seeing, who came to see, the ones who are participating. I'm sure even Ajat Shatru, and they also got a lesson. The elephant got, its liberation. Everybody got the liberation. The Bhikshu Sangha also got its liberation. So everybody witnessed something, and this they will never forget. Words you can forget, but an eventful act they will never forget. If you can see an anger as a mad, drunken elephant in your life, next time you start getting an anger within you, and you see that you have a mad, drunken elephant which is set towards your intelligence, that your buddhi, and it's going there to kill it, you should be able to subdue it with your intelligence. That's your buddhi. And when you can subdue that all anger within itself, and when you have subdued that anger, then you'll see that subdued anger will release it, and that same anger will become a passion, will be kind of created into some other good activity. It will be born in the Chatur Maharaja Kaika's land. Yeah. The same energy that you are going to spend in yelling and shouting at people is now being used to create something and helping people.
Yeah.
You see? So you see this contextually. Don't take it literally. But when you have to imagine the next time an anger coming in, you should think about the drunken white Ali, right? It was a white elephant, drunken elephant, okay, with sword and set by whom? Ajat Shatru, okay, planned by whom? Devdatta. So all these external parties made you angry, because of which you did all that what you did. But you as a Buddha, the Buddhi, your own intelligence, subdued it with your patience and endurance. Okay?
Yeah. Okay, so moving on, 18.6 Nanda. Thus have I heard. One time, the Buddha was staying at Anathapindida's ashrama in Jetavana of Shravasti. At that time, the Venerable Nanda wore exceedingly fine robes, dazzling to the eyes, and golden footwear. He also groomed his eyes and held a begging bowl, preparing to enter the city of Shravasti. When many bhikshus saw the Venerable Nanda from afar, dressed in such fine robes, while going to beg for alms in Shravasti, they went to Bhagwan, bowed at his feet, sat to one side, and then reported, "Just now, Bhikshu Nanda, wearing exceedingly fine robes that shone brilliantly, entered the city of Shravasti to beg for alms." Then Bhagwan instructed a bhikshu, "Go quickly to Bhikshu Nanda and tell him, Tathagata summons you." The bhikshu replied, "Yes, Bhagwan." He then received Bhagwan's instruction, bowed at his feet, and departed. Upon reaching Bhikshu Nanda, he said, "Bhagwan calls for you." Upon hearing the bhikshu's word, Nanda immediately went to Bhagwan, bowed at his feet, and sat to one side. Bhagwan then asked Nanda, "Why are you wearing such fine garments and golden footwear while going to beg for alms in the city of Shravasti?" The Venerable Nanda remained silent and did not reply. Bhagwan further questioned, "Nanda, did you not leave the household life to take up the path of practice out of firm faith?" Nanda replied, "Yes, Bhagwan." Bhagwan said, "As a son of a noble family, you should follow the discipline. Having left home with firm faith to practice the path, why do you now wear such exquisite garments, groom yourself, and go begging in the city of Shravasti? In what way are you different from lay people? At that time, Bhagwan recited this verse: When will I see Nanda disciplining himself in austerities, his heart delighting in the teachings of the Renaissance, and crossing beyond all limits through Shramana practice? Nanda, from now on, do not engage in such conduct again. When the Venerable Nanda and the fourfold assembly heard what the Buddha said, they followed it with joy.
Yeah. I think very simple. You know,
Yeah.
discipline is not so easy. And when Nanda, who comes from basically a very good family, a noble family with all the richness, and because of all the excitement around, maybe at that time he also wanted to become a bhikshu because everybody were following the Buddha. So he also, in that excitement, decided to follow the Buddha. So Buddha says that when you come from a noble family and you choose a path, and you choose that path with firm faith, then you should not change that. Because a good noble man is a man who keeps his words. Discipline is keeping your words. Making your promise and keeping that promise is what a noble man does. And here, actually, Buddha is teaching him nobility. He is teaching him how to keep promises. So, he is telling that, yes, you were living a life like that, a lay person's life. But you chose now to live this life. Now, when you have chosen this life where you want to live as a bhikshu, then live as a bhikshu. Or else you don't live as a bhikshu, you go back and live as a lay person. That's not a problem. But you choose your side and then live by that thing that you have chosen. People want to make a choice, and then after making a choice, they want to live with the previous choice that they missed out on. They want the best of two worlds, that's what they say. But when these two worlds were not there, you had only to choose one world, then you choose one. You understood? So here Buddha is teaching him and reminding him that yes, now you remain in a very simple way, practice the austerities, and he wants to hear that someday all these people keep on complaining about Nanda is this, Nanda that, Nanda wearing this. So I'm sure he is already getting a lot of things. So he's asking, when will I see Nanda? Okay, he's asking, when will I see Nanda disciplining himself in austerities? When is it that his heart delighting in the teachings of the renunciants? Okay, and crossing beyond all limits through Shamana practice. When will I see that? So Nanda says, okay, you'll see. So he's trying again. But the story continues. His attachment with that material world is not so easy to let go. And I think there is a lot of follow-up stories about Nanda. And but in a simple way to understand that when you make a choice based on faith, that you will follow that choice till the end of your life. Otherwise, don't make a choice.
Don't make a choice.
Yeah.
But once you make a choice, you need to follow it.
Absolutely. There is no other option. You have to follow that choice. We have 20 more minutes. Can we take up one more?
Yes, we can. Okay. This is a big one.
This is a big one, huh?
Yes.
So you want to skip today's big one?
Yes, we can. I think we can continue from here next week.
Yeah. Okay. So we can open for a little discussion if you want, because this is the big one.
Yes.
So what do we take home from here? Today's session, if you look at it, one, we learn that is always there are going to be Ajat Shatrus, there are always going to be Devdattas around us, who will have their elephants, who will be given all the kinds of you can say wine and alcohol, and these intoxicated beings that are sent towards us will provoke us to react in a particular way. And the anger that comes within us is something that we need to subdue, okay? Because nothing is outside, everything is happening inside. And if you can understand this, I think the whole purpose of this sutra, of you becoming the Buddha, to subdue that wild elephant and not get worried and panicked with what the plans that these people like Ajat Shatru and Devdatta do, means this again within us only. Okay, our mind plays all these characters. And if you look at it, if you use your intelligence and rationality to look at things and see things clearly, you will never ever be in fear, anxiety, worry. And I think a life without fear, anxiety, worry is the life that helps you to achieve what you can achieve to the best potential, of yours. And that's what Buddha is trying to tell you, that your full potential has to be harnessed in this lifetime. Do not just, you can say, exhaust yourself without actually delivering what you have come here for. Okay, so make sure that you engage in your duties, your responsibilities, and be well mannered, follow the Panchashil, and be a part of the Sangha, a team that is really transforming. So that's one thing. And second is, when you keep a vow, make a promise, take a choice, then live with it for the rest of it, till the time you are keeping that promise. That's what a gentleman, that's what a nobleman lives for.
And that's also a part of Panchashil.
Yeah, absolutely. You if you want to follow Panchashil, you'll have to keep it as a vow and follow it for the rest of your life. Yeah. Otherwise, no point. Nah?
No point.
So I think if you look at even though there is these stories and everything, all those things, the essence of Buddha's teaching is to understand that everything, all that thing is happening inside you. And if you can see that clearly within you, and not the external parties, because there is nobody out there to blame, there is nobody inside to be blamed, it's only the conditions that are to be blamed, and these conditions can be changed. So there is technically no reason for you to get frustrated and worried. So when there is no characters, but only situations, and situations can change. And you are the person who can change the situation. So change it, work for it, and transform your life. With this transformation, you will realize that a greedy caterpillar that was feeding on the mulberry leaves all day and night, one day realizes enough is enough, keeps on vomiting out, but with the realization of enough and vomiting out, it vomits out silk, and that silk, it makes itself into its cocoon. With all that it had taken, it gives back, makes it its shell in which it lives, and then transforms itself. And through the metamorphosis, the same crawling caterpillar now is flying on flowers and leaves and here and there. No more grabbing and eating on the leaves, but sucking onto the nectar of flowers. Okay, so life of one caterpillar transformed into a totally different character, right? This is exactly what could happen to us.
Yeah.
Yeah?
Okay. So we can open the floor for questions.
Yeah.
We have...
No questions? Here also no questions? You have? Yeah. So Nagas, like we have different clan of people, like Devas, Nagas, Yakshas, Gandharvas. These are different people. So Buddha, many a times he calls himself into the Naga clan. Nagas, he calls himself that Nagas also, that do not harm a Nagas. Huh? What the Nagas are? Nagas is a clan. Like you have the Gandharvas who are into music and this thing. Nagas is a particular group. So there is a lot of debate whether these Nagas are the ones who build the Nagaras. So Nagas are the ones who build the Nagars. So Nagars, jo hai na, all the cities are the ones they were a particular type of people. So now you know that these are businessmen. These are this. So this is type of one clan. So different in India, everybody was her clan, was specialized in something, and they used to ask, which clan do you belong to? कौन सी इससे बोलता है? Are you a potter, kumbharo? Are you this or thing? So are you a Naga? So are you a Naga means are you from the Naga clan? Okay, so that's where it has come. So we just take it as a little clan at that time. It was there. Okay, yeah.
Okay, so as Doctor said, ki all these stories are just for us to get the essence that all these characters are playing in our mind. And to see all those characters clearly in our mind, we need to practice. And the practice is very important. So I hope you keep practicing Shunya. And that is enough for today.
I think that's enough for today. You have a question, Yarucha, tell me.
Now, when we see that incidents has been described in very few lines. Just Buddha spoke that you shall not harm the Naga. So, as you have explained now, he is equating and making sure that okay, some commonalities he is finding to speak with. I am your own community, like you belong to the same community. The second line is for the Naga is the most rare to encounter. So it is showing the rarity. Okay. And by having Naga, I'm not sure what the third exact line is. And the fourth line is you shall not harm, you shall not attain virtuous rebirth. So it is causing some fear also.
Yeah.
So what is the Upay Kaushalya here, which Buddha has used to shift that mindset of that?
Yeah, because see, you when a dog is eating and you're eating, we don't feel jealous of the dog eating, because the food of the dog is the food of the dog. It's nothing. But maybe another dog looking at the dog eating can be jealous. Jealousy, hatred, greed are within the species itself, within the community itself. And so when you make people realize that's not the right way, you should not be jealous, you should not be, having greed and all those things. When you tell them and they realize it, that it is me, my family, my own house, my own people, my own beings, that itself wakes them up. And then all the raga, dvesha, moha between that species that cause all the problem is gone away. So a good counselor, a good therapist knows that the people that were once upon a time in love are now harboring hate, and then he makes them realize that love was because you are both together, hate is because today you are not together, but this is just situational. Right? And there would be situations which can be neutral also, where there is no need for you to have that same kind of attached love or a kind of a detached, hate. So it could be neutral, wherein as you were before these two things came in, you could live a normal life also. And at that time, there's no effort to forgive or forget. It just happens so naturally. And this is where a wise counselor can help a person to realize not to hold on to things and not to let go of the things, just to make sure that they do not participate in any things that are happening around. And not being a non-participant, not being a participant to all the acts that, like the elephant, participated in the act. It used whatever the master gave, its trainer gave, it got drunk, and it thought it is the most powerful, and it just went. Right? In its sanity, it would not do that. That is why they want to make sure that it is drunk, because if it is not drunk, it will never do that, because it is trained not to harm people. That is why it's the elephant that is of the king, right? If it could harm people, why would they do that? And there was no war happening. In war, when there is somebody who is hitting you, then the elephant goes there, but the elephant is just participating in the war. But here, when you look at this situation, they know the elephant will not do it. So the only way is to make sure it is intoxicated and it loses its senses. And many a times we harm people when we lose our senses. In our senses, we never harm people. You see, why would we do that? Because that's not our human nature, that's not our quality. Compassion is our basic nature. We only, when we are intoxicated, when we are in ignorance, that's where we start, breaking all the rules. That's where we actually start harming people. That's where jealousy, hatred, greed, everything come in. Otherwise, there is no way it is going to come in. And that's where again this sutra is again trying to tell us the same thing. Is it clear? Okay, yeah. Thank you.
Okay, thank you so much.
Thank
Doctor,
you
for
so
your
much.
time. We will see you guys next weekend on Saturday with the Pali discussions. Keep practicing. I hope to see you guys on the Saturday. Okay, thank you.
It will spread throughout India.
पूरी इंडिया में ये स्प्रेड होगा.
When India started to practice Sunya,
जब इंडिया ने प्रैक्टिस करना शुरू कर दिया शून्य का,
but the ancient Chinese described Sunya, described India.
जैसे जो चाइनीज थे पुराने, उन्होंने इंडिया के बारे में कुछ बताया है.
Simple,
वो एक साधारण देश है,
elegance,
लेकिन उसमें कुछ खूबसूरती है.
most importantly, majestic.
और सबसे बड़ी चीज है महान है.
Sabas India.
तो ये है इंडिया, साधारण, खूबसूरत और महान.
It will spread throughout India.
पूरी इंडिया में ये स्प्रेड होगा.
When India started to